Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron. I hope you're having an incredible day or night in Jesus. Thank you so much for being with us. We're looking at monotheism, and we're looking today is the traditional monotheistic religions, are they really monotheistic, which means one God, not a pantheon of gods, not a multiplicity of minds or somewhat, or wills, so to speak. So we're on plato.stanford.edu. We just kind of use it as a base. We discussed a little bit, fair usage, and that's the Stanford Dictionary of Philosophy. We greatly appreciate them putting this online. A lot of very helpful information. So monotheism built Western civilization, as they say. The three great monotheistic religions, as people call them: Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. But we're going to look at some things about monotheism, especially the first thing that's here on this dictionary on Kabbalah, or Kabbalah. Different people pronounce it different ways. And I really hesitated doing this video because we're not really into Kabbalah, obviously. I did a video on a Christian view of Kabbalah, and very few videos have ever been attacked by doing that video quite some time ago. And what I picked up from that is most people don't know what Kabbalah is. They don't understand, and there's evidently a multiplicity of understandings of Kabbalah and maybe levels of understanding, almost like not a secret society, but like Masons, they have levels and stuff like that. But there may be variations and branches, just like Islam has, Sufism and all this, Sufism, Shiite, and on, Sunni, that there may be some of that. Druze, we could argue that. But anyhow, so our monotheistic traditions, really monotheistic. Thanks for being here. Do check out our other videos here on the channel. No discussion of monotheism be complete, which failed to note that some major theistic traditions, that's just believers in God, theism, contain strands which on their face seem at odds with the commitment to monotheism. So come to Kabbalah. Again, it's pronounced different things, even spelled differently. Some spell it with a Q, some with a K, but Kabbalah, on and on. So Kabbalah and monotheism. Consider the Kabbalah, for example. The Zohar, after 1275 AD, there is some interesting discussions on that. I've got a great friend in Israel with tons of knowledge on all this, been to rabbinical school for years and all this, identifies the first principle with the Ein Sof, or infinite or unlimited. The Ein Sof is the hidden God, or innermost being of God, without attributes or qualities. Because it lacks attributes, the Ein Sof is incomprehensible, and thus in a strict sense non-personal, although it reveals itself as personal. And you find some of this in the New Testament, Paul saying to the invisible, God is invisible God, and things such as that. But it's not the unknown knower or the unmoved mover, so to speak. It's not the incomprehensible of Gnosticism and the various strands of Gnosticism. It's done me a lot of good on our Biblical Archaeology Day podcast to do a lot of Gnostic writings and showing what they are, because early writings and early councils were a lot more than the 7 ecumenical councils and your Hippolytuses and your Irenaeuses and all of this. There were just tons of writings out there. The hidden God manifests itself in the Sephorit, however. These are conceived as God's attributes, or as divine spheres or realms, or in stages in his self-manifestation. I found it fascinating reading Hippolytus about Judaism of his day. I think it was in his 8th tractate there. Maybe it was his 9th, of the refutation of all heresies, also known as the Philosophema, that he said the Jews of his day believed there was a God and his spirit was beside him. Now the Bible teaches God is a spirit. So, going back to Kabbalah, they are also regarded, these manifestations, as names which God gives himself, and together form his one great name, or as God's faces or garments, or as beams of his light. They're also sometimes pictured as the branches of a tree whose root is the Ein Sof, the hidden root of roots. Alternatively, the Ein Sof is depicted as the sap which circulates through, maintains the branches. So you've got this Ein Sof, the unknown one, the non-personal one, and then he's got manifestations. We're going to get into maybe 10 manifestations, these type things. These branches are thought of extending through the whole of the created order. Created things exist solely in virtue of the fact that the power of the Sephirot lives and acts in them. Now that sounds, in one sense, suspiciously like Colossians 1, by him all things consist, talking about Jesus, but in another sense, suspiciously like Baruch Spinoza's pantheism, which obviously would not believe. Which I was looking at pantheism a little earlier on this. There are 10 Sephirot, or stages in God's self-manifestation. A brief discussion of the first 3 will be sufficient for our purposes, looking at monotheism. The first is perhaps surprisingly characterized as nothing, or the abyss, Revelation 9. We are said to catch glimpses of it when things alter their form or disappear, when things change or are destroyed. Nothingness, or the abyss, becomes visible for a fleeting moment. This mystical no-thingness is God's supreme crown. So we're going to continue on with Kabbalah and monotheism in our next video, but just laying a groundwork. You've got the Ein Sof, unknown, 10 manifestations of that. And is the 10 manifestations, in what sense are they manifestations, or do they have personality? And does this lend oneself to monotheism? And this is just one part of Judaism. And boy, you say that, a lot of people say Kabbalah is totally different than Judaism. There's so many different types of Judaism. There's Karaite and various Chabad and all of this. You know, the Pharisaical Judaism. Tough. But let's keep going. God bless. Thanks for being here. Check out our other videos. Hit the bell notification. Subscribe. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.